This is the All Things Nerd Podcast, Season 4, Episode 5. On tonight's show, the main topics, we are going to be talking about the Star Wars Underworld series that never happened, but there was a leak on some footage, so at least you get to see what it was. We're also going to talk about the first pictures of super up close on the sun's surface and our thoughts on those. And lastly, we're going to talk about some casting news of wow, Owen Wilson getting cast into Loki for Disney Plus. So that and much more. Thank you for joining. Sit back and enjoy the show. Here's the intro. Hello to all the Geek Enthusiasts, Nerd Aficionados. This is Mess5150 welcoming you back to another All Things Nerd podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Malice-Corp.com. That's the website where you can find All Things Nerd. Head over there to find other episodes and upcoming articles from both Super Hoovy and Freak and IC Zorro for a look back at Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, yeah, head on over there. And while you're there, make sure to sign up, become a member over there. It's free, but you can interact and talk in the different article chats and stuff like that. So I am your host, Mess5150, and as always, the way we like to start this show out is with Get Your Geek On.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Getting Your Geek On is what we've been doing for the last week since you last heard from us or talked to us. If you were here live on twitch.tv/Malice Corp every Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern, and interacting with us so that you can be a part of the show. We'd like to know what you've been geeking out on, so tell us in the chat room if you're listening now. Me, personally, my geek out has been of the musical nature because I talked about this before and how pissed off I was on what happened with it, but My Chemical Romance is coming back again. They announced their US tour, and it was almost going to be a topic, but I don't know how much of a My Chemical Romance fans the people were on this chat, or on this cast, so I decided not to bring it up. But they released a 13-minute video that announced their US tour, and it was an awesome video for My Chemical Romance fans. I mean, there were so many stinking Easter eggs throughout the video. The guy that's walking through the video walks through each album from My Chemical Romance to throw back to some of their biggest hits, and epic. It's called The Summoning, and it was crazy. But to finish the geek out, I got my tickets today. I'm going to go see them in LA when they perform on October 8th. So that's it. That's my geek out. I got
all their greatest hits like Black Parade and
Helena,
Black Parade,
okay.
and Black Parade,
and Black Parade. Yeah, I forgot.
Okay, Black Parade, Cancer.
There's a reason we didn't do it as a topic.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
And yes, there is a greatest hits album, because if you said MCR had greatest hits, they did. So that was my geek out. Let's get on to who's here on the cast and what their geek outs were. IC Zorro, what'd you geek out on this last week?
Oh man, I've been reading his Dark Materials. The HBO series got me into the book. And now that I'm past where the actual first season ended up, it's more interesting now. It's more nuanced, and I don't know. I'm enjoying it. It's definitely still, YA literature. It's young adult stuff, but it's decent. I listened to Randall Park, his interview on WTF with Mark Maron, and that got me into watching Fresh Off the Boat. If it's a really funny, like well-written sitcom, it's a campy, like neighborhood sitcom with a slightly different viewpoint. And man, it's quality entertainment.
Because Constance Wu got too up about herself on Crazy Rich Asians and pretty much torpedoed the show from continuing. So she wanted to do her movie stuff. So yeah.
Well, she's fantastic as well. And then after I finished watching the series, it's been a week and I've binged through like almost the first 3 seasons already. I'm going to read the book that it's based off, which is Eddie Wong's Fresh Off the Book, which is like a little memoir. And then I was kind of hoping Aaron would show up this week. He was talking to me about The Witcher 3 and its DLC Blood and Roses. He was entirely correct. That is one of the prettiest DLCs I've ever seen. I'm still just getting into the story.
Would you take it to dinner first or just get right into it?
No, I'm still playing around the edges.
Okay.
I mean, he does have that candle set up, so we got to make sure we get out of here on time. It looks like he's got a hot date later.
Got some ambiance going on in the room. If you guys aren't watching this live and you're just listening,
That's actually a lamp over there.
Oh,
It just
your
has a
left
red
shoulder.
lampshade.
It's your
Other
left
side.
shoulder.
Oh, that
sir.
one? Yeah, that's definitely a candle.
now I'm thinking of Captain America on your left.
Hooked on point.
My other left? Oh yeah, no, it's cedarwood and amber. I like my apartment to smell good.
It's mahogany.
It's rich Corinthian leather.
And
Wow.
Rubutu says you're young adult literature. Welcome Rubutu into the chat room. Thanks for coming in.
He said I'm a DLC.
No, that's what Jack said.
Jackson, yeah.
We also have Masonic Vader here on the cast. What have you been geeking out on, sir?
Oh man, this has been kind of like a slow geek week. We got my son and I went back and started watching Teen Titans Go again. Just finished up the episode where they had the Wonder Twins in it, which was awesome. Just totally making fun of one, making Wonder Twin power activate, and Jan does all the cool animals, and the guy does all the water stuff. It was awesome. Yeah, and then the other thing is my kid's got that. I got my kid that Nintendo subscription for his Switch, and now we can play Super Nintendo stuff for free.
Nice.
So
So
it's
guys
awesome.
says at least Icy isn't in a cave this week. Thank you for coming out of the cave.
I'm not in a hotel where I
Yeah.
can't move the lamps around. It's nice.
Of course, he's borrowing grandma's lamp back there, but still, it's all good.
You'd think for a high-end Marriott, the lamps would be mobile, but no, that shit was bolted down.
Because they had a Ross from Friends come in and steal it. So if it wasn't bolted down, you could take it.
Or potentially Motley Crue stayed during the 80s or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was yeah. The ceiling at one point.
Lastly, joining us on the cast, she is joining us from her abode and not from work, so
Yeah.
she won't get interrupted and taken away in the middle of the cast. Super Hoovian Freak joins us. What are you geeking out on? What have you been geeking out on, Super?
Well, I got the Laker game on behind me, so popping over and looking at the score from
Not
time
a
to time.
sponsor. Not a sponsor.
No, not a sponsor. But this week, I restarted. I wanted to watch it from start to finish, since it only got 2 seasons. I was rewatching Timeless, and I like the fluidity of it from just watching it start to finish. The story flows. It really holds up, and I think NBC really, the lack of marketing that they did for that show, the lack of effort that they put into getting it the attention it deserved, they really just dropped the ball big time.
They probably thought it'd go on forever and ever.
So,
And Jack says you're timeless.
but
Aw.
that's what I was watching this week.
Nice. So a rehash back. Yeah, my only other thing that I was watching was I've been catching up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. since the final season starting here soon.
Right.
Mm.
And
And then of course both Super and I have been rewatching the early season or the first season of Buffy because we've done
Yes.
a bunch of articles. The first one of which has been submitted for publication, editing and SEO and stuff. Should be up anytime.
So Josh wants to bring up the big geek out that we didn't actually put onto this show this week, but I thought it would come up in the geek out from somebody. But he said, can we skip to Captain Jack coming back to Who, which was amazing to see Jack Harkness pop back into Doctor Who and keep it under wraps, not having anybody know what was going on outside of apparently David Tennant, because oh my God, I am blanking on the name. Why am I blanking on the name? How can I blank on Captain Jack's name?
Captain Jack?
Barrowman.
John Barrowman. Oh my God! Wow. John Barrowman.
Beacon is slapping you mentally right now.
Yeah, no kidding. John Barrowman had to tell David Tennant, "Hey, I'm coming back," but that was it. He came back. Literally, just came back. He didn't even interact with the Doctor. He was there for like a minute, and that was
It's
it.
It's the one episode I haven't watched yet. So. Whee!
And they've said there's no plans for him to come back for anything further. So
Yeah, it's so weird.
the biggest tease in the world, because it's like, here's what you want, but we're not giving you any more. So that's why we didn't bring it up as a topic, because
Well, that's
it
a
would just
bummer.
be a bunch of nerd range anger.
You need to pop in $20 for the next 10 minutes, sir.
Or just 1-800-CALL ATT. It's right down the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Josh does bring up a good point. Yeah, we shall see. That was a huge bump. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there is no. They've said there is no plans to have him come back for any more stuff. So
Yeah, Beacon's in the chat room. Ass. They said,
welcome in, Beacon. Okay.
You failed to remember Barrowman's name. He came here like that.
It just summoned him. He's like, wait, somebody's
funny.
talking about Barrowman.
to the Batcave.
He felt the disturbance in the force. Okay, let's get into the actual show. And the first thing we're gonna do, it's the end of the month. We're gonna do these at the end of every month until the big actual thing happens. And this is What the Upfronts Pilot Edition.
Upfronts.
What the Upfronts is, every year TV Upfronts happen, and those are the new shows that are coming to television networks for people hoping to get new viewers and get people to come watch. And they haven't happened yet, but we like playing this game, and it's where I give the people here on the cast the name of a television show, and then they tell me what they think the show is about. It's an improv game. They don't know what it's about. And because upfronts haven't happened yet, we're doing pilot edition. So a lot of pilot shows have been ordered, and I'm going to give the title of the pilot. They're going to give me their guess as to what they think it's about. You can let me know in the chat room as well. I also drop these titles over on our Facebook group, facebook.com/G/all things nerd podcast. So you can always come and interact with us about the topics that we're going to be doing throughout the week, because I'll drop them there every Friday. So you can kind of give us your thoughts on the stuff we're going to talk about. But yeah, so first up, the very first show is, I believe, called My Village, I think it is.
I got one for that.
Go for it.
Okay, so it's a retirement community for all the long lost Village People fans, where they go and they're going to put on weekly performances. Think Rocky Horror Picture style, where they do the Rocky Horror Picture nights, and they're all going to be recreating. And every week they have to break up a fight over who gets to play the cop in the YMCA video.
I mean, I call biker.
I got biker, yeah, Indian. the headdress guy.
I don't know why, but as soon as he said My Village, I heard it in the By Menon like ad tone. My Village. So now I think it's just a bunch of people that work for a deodorant company as like a corporate.
What about you, Masonic?
I was thinking it was a live action Misadventures of Brainy the Smurf. Yeah, I went Smurf on that one.
I would watch that. Yeah.
Okay. Actual show, the log line, it's an empty nester mom wonders how she ended up alone while her kids live their best lives out thousands of miles away. She decides her place is with her family, and as she reinserts herself into her children's lives, they realize they might need her more than they thought.
If Betty White is the main star, I'll watch it.
No idea who.
Well, then it will run for 9 years. Yeah.
Yeah, we have no idea, because like I said, these are just pilots that have been ordered.
I like our ideas better.
Yeah, that does sound kind of lame. I'd almost take The Village 2 with M. Night Shyamalan and just do all that stuff.
That was
again.
my next guess. Was it was like
That
a
was
reality
everyone's
TV
next
show
guess.
of people doing like reenacting The Village.
Oh, like Encore, but just for that movie?
Yes, exactly.
There are some good points that were brought up here too. From Josh brought up that Captain Jack's like their cocaine, just a taste for now. Then when you get jonesing, they'll bring him back. I could see that happening.
Okay, good.
And Beacon, because of anger over me forgetting Barrowman's name, is muted us, but he's still in there trash about me. So, next TV show, Prospect.
Okay.
Someone else want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the easy way would be, California, Northern California in 1849. It's just Charlie Chaplin, but like, with sound. The Prospect.
Super.
All right, so Prospect. This one is a misplaced 49er from the gold rush who travels through time and ends up in the middle of LGBT Central, downtown San Francisco.
Haight-Ashbury.
And he's got to try to make his way in the world now.
Okay. And any ideas, Masonic?
I gotta
Can't beat
follow
that.
up with that one, huh? All right. Awesome. Yeah, no, I couldn't really come up with anything. I mean, everything was thinking 49er because of the game. Let's go live action 49er current day battle royal panning for gold. There you go.
It's a
Right there.
49er
Okay,
reality.
we all went panning for gold. Let me try a different tack. Let's see. Second option, it's a sports
Yeah.
prospect, somebody that's going to be like he's a big college draw in golf, but now he's got to go live in the gold rush. Damn it.
Yeah,
I'm
Ruru
just
two
saying,
says-
panning the streets of San Francisco, you ain't finding golden nuggets on those streets.
Ruru
You're
two
finding some nuggets, but they're not gold.
Ruru 2 says Wild Wild West. Jack, our producer, says prospect, a football scout looking for new players. And Josh said, didn't Pauly Shore make a movie like that, but with a caveman? Okay.
Squeeze in the juice.
So it is a comedic Western with a feminist twist. An idealistic young woman moves to the frontier to be a school teacher, but her ideals are quickly tested when she learns that her students are rowdy ranch hands, not children.
Oh, that sounds like a bad porno.
That sounds like a fantastic porno.
Oh
And
man,
it's Mary Steenburgen from Back to the Future 3 as the school teacher.
Okay. Our last TV show to make guesses about Jack just said, wow.
I'm sorry, Jack said,
Wow. He said, wow.
Apparently, IC is going to be her Huckleberry.
The last TV show is The Big Sky.
Big sky.
Montana snowboarder moves to Louisiana and has to figure out what the hell he's going to do now.
David Letterman's life as he lives on the Montana plains and what he does with all his horses. Doesn't he own Montana? I'm pretty sure he owns
Most
Montana.
of it,
Most of it, yeah.
Half hour episode. Let's just call them 50-plus-year-olds in the middle of the field smoking weed and their reactions.
yeah.
Into reality shows for all these.
Yes, yes.
I want to make a little tweak to that. If you could take this note, let's go with the Beatles' "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds." Change it from weed to LSD.
By the way, the last two series were comedies. This is a drama. This is Private Detective Casey Duell partners with ex-cop Jenny Hoyt on a search for two sisters who have been kidnapped by a truck driver on a remote highway in Montana. You got the Montana thing right. But when they discover that these are not the only girls who've disappeared in the area, they must race against the clock to stop the killer before another woman is taken. And this is created by David E. Kelly.
See, that actually sounds like a viable plot. A stupid name.
For a TV show, though, how far can it go? I mean...
It's a good miniseries, yeah.
Root just says it's the story of how Lando Calrissian wins Sky City.
Isn't that Cloud City?
Cloud City.
It is, but I still like it.
I like it.
Who's he fighting? Is he fighting Han or is he fighting Darth Vader?
Jack says that he hates when he says racing the clock. It's a race against time.
It's a race
Is that better?
against time.
Yeah, if you want to see a real quality movie, I gave this to IC. Did you see that movie? I gave you the suggestion.
I have not watched it yet. No.
Amazon Prime. Sorceress. Twin sisters born, given superpowers from a mythical wizard. That's what Big Sky's all about. And grow up. And
that sounds like a bad porno too.
Oh, trust me. If you do watch it,
that sounds like a great porno.
No, it's bad. It's horrible.
Naruto says, I'm going to turn all these into Disney properties. And Jinx, me and Jack are on the same wavelength because he also said that also sounds like a bad porno too. Okay.
I reject the concept.
Josh Call says, retired hippie moves from Portland to Montana, small town, bringing with him hydroponic skills to make Montana the #1 pot producer. That's the show. I actually
Yeah, it's like a reverse.
Okay.
Breaking Bad Montana edition. What? Which, by the way, has probably one of the lowest populations in the United States, so I'm sure it won't be that hard.
Oh, okay. Moving on to trailer reactions. This is In a World.
In a city, in a town, in a world, they thought they had it all figured out. But there was one thing they didn't plan on.
The first movie that we're going to be talking about is Fantasy Island. Yes, that wonderful 80s TV show with Ricardo Montalban about going and living your fantasies and learning a lesson for the most part by the end of the episode. They've made a movie of it, and it is a twist on it. But as we always like to start these reactions out, we like to get Super's feedback on what the trailer was about. So for those that haven't watched Super, please explain the Fantasy Island trailer to everyone.
It kind of felt like if the Matrix and the Bachelor had a baby, you get Fantasy Island. It's the weirdest, like. Oh, and you got to throw an Invasion of the Body Snatchers, because I'm pretty sure someone mimics someone else with blood coming out of their eyes. Pretty sure that happened.
There is somebody seeing an evil version of themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, so if the three of them combined, because like the setting was absolutely beautiful. They're on that little island in the middle of nowhere. Creepy lady saying you're going to live out all your fantasies, because you know that always goes well. Nothing ever goes wrong in that scenario. And then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, Josh Callis in the chat, rich Corinthian Leatherface.
Jigsaw's Fantasy Island is what Ruru2 says.
Yes.
Cabin in the Woods saw Love Baby.
Yes.
Says.
But
so,
in the tropics.
Yes, so it is Fantasy Island twisted into it is Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. They make sure to put that in front of it because Blumhouse is known for horror films.
Absolutely.
This is a horror version of Fantasy Island. It is an Instagram famous Willy Wonka contest Fantasy Island because that's how the people get there. They're on their Instagram. I'm on Fantasy Island. And they're telling everybody, welcome to the island for winning the contest, which doesn't sound like a great contest because it's a horror film.
I know.
We
know it's not going to go well.
And
it kind of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It kind of reminded me of the idea. Like I said, the Matrix because of the fact that you could like edit the scene, but it's what I picture, and IC will probably agree with me. It's what I picture the hollow rooms in the in-depth book to be able to do.
Yes.
Yeah. Where they can create literally your entire. I mean, they go like
it's like
they're
a
in a room.
holodeck.
Yeah, a holodeck.
And Jack says, "Welcome to the worst contest prize ever." Period. Yes, I agree. That's pretty much
Also,
it.
it's the exact concept of a Doctor Who episode from earlier this season.
Huh. I'm not caught up on Doctor Who whatsoever, so that's I wouldn't have known.
Here's the thing: I'm not a huge horror movie guy, but I trust Blumhouse. Everything I've seen from them, I've truly enjoyed.
Yeah, they gotta get out.
This cast is fantastic. Maggie Q, Lucy Hale, my ex-wife made me watch Pretty Little Liars. She's decent. Portia Doubleday is great. Michael Pena, Michael Rooker, Kim Coates. Kim Coates is fantastic. Have you ever watched
Michael Rooker in
Anarchy? No, you don't. Or Kim Coates. This is a good cast.
I need to Sonic Vader's thoughts because he looks like he's falling asleep.
I give him credit for trying to put a twist on it, but didn't we learn from Charlie's Angels? Come on. And this is ridiculous.
Which one?
Oh,
Which Charlie's Angels?
The most recent one. The most recent one.
Perfect.
You mean the one that no one watched?
Yeah, I was gonna say I love that you think I watched it.
Yeah, no one watched it. I have no interest to see this movie. I saw the trailer and I'm just like, hey, good spin, but I mean, come on, it's if there's no Ricardo Montalban or some little dude saying there's a plane,
Hervé Villechaize.
There's my issue. I have the scariest thing that you can put in this is a little person chasing people around. There is no little person yelling the plane, boss, the plane in this trailer.
I want them to reanimate Hervé Villechaize. Yeah.
I looked at the credits. There is no little person in the credits. This is ridiculous to not have.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That's my issue. The other issue is Michael Pena is who I love. He's actually a great actor. Is now Mr. Rourke, and all I want from him is to be the character that he plays in Ant-Man.
Okay, so you had this fantasy, right? And we're like,
So you gotta let the fantasy play out, because if you don't let it play out, then all this stuff goes bad and everything.
And I heard it from my brother's sister's cousin's third friend from work the other day while she's getting her nails done at the salon. Yeah.
No.
Okay, so quick ratings based off the trailer. I see.
B-. I'll see it, but not in theaters.
Okay, Masonic.
D+. Don't even ask me to watch it.
Super.
C. I'll probably see it in 2 years on a free Redbox rental.
It's an
excellent plane movie.
Wait. Can we go back and hear what she just said? Did you say Redbox rental?
Yep.
Who does
Free.
Redbox?
Free
People that
Redbox
go to
rental.
the grocery store.
People who walk by the grocery store and have a free Redbox rental.
People that still have DVD players in their houses.
And
I guess they would watch Fantasy Island. All right.
Just don't. The twist doesn't need to be made, but I'll check it out later. Josh calls it E for effort, not my effort, but I'm sure someone will.
Yeah.
The next trailer we're talking about is Fast 9, Fast and the Furious. The
Woo!
Fast Saga. It doesn't even have an actual title. The title of the movie is
F9.
The Fast Saga. Super. What happened? Tell people about the Fast and the Furious 9 trailer. Explain this trailer to everybody.
That was the longest effing trailer in existence to literally leave me at the end going, I have no idea what I just watched. Is it an action movie? Are they stealing cars? Are they in a jungle? Are they trying to avenge someone's death? I literally had no idea, but I just know Vin Diesel gets hits a lot.
Yes to all of them.
Have you seen any of the Fast and Furious movies? Just asking.
I've seen 1 and 2.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
So what she did was she went to the worst one, was like, I'm not watching any more of these after 2.
Yeah, after 2. 2 was the worst, one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Was that the Drift?
No, that was
Drift was 3. 2 was Malice.
Okay, then I saw 3.
3 was the worst. Yeah.
I saw up to Tokyo Drift.
Because 3 had Han. That's what.
Well, that was the only good part of it.
Apparently, 9 has Han too.
Yeah, that's
yes.
Okay.
So I was just like, the Fast and Furious. I remember I was like, this has nothing to do with street racing. Like, what happened?
Oh no.
Well, apparently you need to watch the rest of the movies to kind of find out where.
God.
You're in for 14 hours of pure joy. These movies are dumb as hell, but they know exactly what they are. They're just entertaining.
Vin Diesel got hit a lot.
There's been points where they jump cars from building to building. Like, it's insane. There's one part where they're racing a tank across ice, but it gets intercepted by a submarine. These movies have completely insane.
So they're like Final Destination, but with racing.
No. Let me explain this. Here's what happened. What happened was they had the first 2 Fast and the Furiouses, and then Paul Walker was like, these scripts are crap. I'm not doing any more of these movies. So then they did Tokyo Drift to try and do an offshoot to create a different one, but that didn't do as well. So Vin Diesel went to Paul Walker and said, hey, let's get back together and do movies because we're not selling anything anymore, and we need to make.
You know how we could still make a ton of money?
And here's the thing. Remember that movie Italian Job? People really liked it, but there was no sequel to it. So let's just make an Italian Job film. So they turned them into heist films in 4, and after 4 everybody started loving these series because they're like, hey, they're not just street films now, they're heist films. And
wait, you forgot one thing. Let's go back and make movies, and then let's go invite that guy named Dwayne Johnson.
Exactly.
Well, that was that
right.
4 or 5
involved.
4.
I want to say that was 4.
Got involved.
I thought that was 5, but
5 he got involved. 6 he played a much bigger part in. And then they went, let's you know what? Now we're gonna make a superhero racing movie and bring in a villain that has superpowers.
Oh, that was a branch off. That's a branch off.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's a branch off.
Jason Statham?
Yeah. No.
No, Idris Elba, the last one.
Okay, okay, but you said they brought in Statham, who was like the superhero bad guy before Idris Elba got there in the offshoot.
He was just a bad guy.
This first movie was a heist film too, but it was much more a racing movie than it was a heist film.
Well, and let's be clear, all of them has been family. which is why in the number 9, we're just hearing about his brother, who is played by, I couldn't tell, I couldn't see him.
Yeah, I couldn't see. Every time they talked about the brother, there was nobody on the screen. So, but no, it was.
And his name is John C.
Yeah, so this is the most insane, crazy stunts, fake stunts that they've put onto the screen so far for this franchise. And it is so WTF that people are just like, I'm locked in, I'm ready to go.
It hit every Fast and the Furious trailer note that there is. Jumping off of high stuff, getting caught on cables, something huge getting stuck way up in the air, like cars flipping over other cars, people falling from reasonable heights. It's perfectly Fast and the Furious. Everybody's going to see it.
Yeah, and let's be honest. I think one of the reasons why these movies continue to do as well as they do is because they don't mess with the formula. They bring back all the cast. So you saw Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson,
that was
Michelle
funny.
Rodriguez. I mean, you're seeing everybody coming back to the movie, and in every movie they've had since, they've added like some super mega stars. Like they've had Charlize Theron the last couple of times. They added The Rock. Now they're putting in John Cena, who's practically been in almost 3/4 of film since last year. And
that guy's everywhere.
They had Kurt Russell in the last couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't.
Helen Mirren in this one too. So.
Yeah,
I saw that.
They don't mess with the formula. They know what works, and they just put a quality special effects, and they're not going to win Oscars for acting, but they're going to make you feel like you walked out of 2.5 hours with holding your pee, like I was excited.
So
it's going to be car chases and crazy fist fights, and you're going to have fun.
Yeah, you get a rocket engine on a Pontiac Fiero in this trailer. We got a magnet car. Funny. We got a magnet car, and apparently at the end of this is Uncharted 5, where Drake is replaced by Dom's car, swinging on a rope. So, and Han got really old, but they're even bringing back dead characters because Han's back. And
what the hell?
All I said was, did the Avengers go back and save him too after the Remember the Fallen meme? So,
or maybe he did get snapped, and then he came back, right?
Hot segue. Loki brought him back. Some
of the comments from our Facebook group in, like I said, facebook.com/groups/all things nerd podcast. When I put up what were your reactions to the trailer, we got, it looks loud, dumb, and fun. You had me at Magnet Plane.
By the way, Michael Rooker is in this one too.
That guy's everywhere.
He really is.
Well, is he coming loud in his 69?
Oh God.
Wow. Well, we might as well, you know what? We might as well throw it out there. Get a guy on a fiery motorcycle, Nick Cage. There you go. Got it out.
How can we make Dom's character seem even dumber? Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. We'll make John Cena be his brother. And then lastly, we got when did this become a daytime soap opera? Long lost brother that nobody has mentioned before. People we thought were dead that aren't. I think it's time to admit that Vin Diesel is literally just making movies about him and his friends playing make-believe with studio money. To which I responded,
the world turns fast and furious.
Yeah. And my response to that was, wait, he just started doing this? And I have to bring this up because I love this so much. He says, no, it's been happening for a long time, but I think we as moviegoers have enabled him. It's time to stage a Vintervention.
You know what I want to do? I'm going to fast forward really quick. There is going to be there's going to be 10 movies of Fast and Furious. That's going to be the last one. That's what they've said, right? Yeah, there's going to be one more after this. Now
10 Fast, 10 Furious?
Yeah, so I don't know. I can tell you how it's going to end. It's going to back out. This camera's going to go fuzzy. It's going to back out. And this little kid's going to put his controller down and be like, man, that was the best GTA game ever, and walk away.
As Bruckheimer stands behind him counting money.
Lastly, a bearded master's reaction to the trailer. A whole lot of WTF, yet yes, please. 1, Tyrese had to go and be a crybaby so we don't get The Rock and Cena in the same movie. And 2, Han, really? So those are the reactions we got on the Facebook group.
Wait, Rock's not in this one?
No.
Damn.
No, yeah, he was in the last one, and they'll probably put him in number 10. The series finale.
Yeah, you can't have both those guys in that franchise and not have them on screen together at some point.
Most people, it looks like in the chat room, only watched the first Fast movie. That's Ruru too said. Jack says they do well because the mob wants the spectacle. I don't know what that was supposed to be. Special. And no longer want good stories. Ruru2 says it's WWE meets Monster Truck Rally. And Josh Cal says, hey, it's a popcorn summer movie. Is what it is. Exactly.
That's what Fast and Furious has always been the best at. They don't take themselves too seriously. They are exactly what they mean to be.
Jack says it's gonna pan out, and it's gonna be Vin saying, "Wow, that was a great modern RPG game ever."
Wow.
And now can we go back to D&D? And Mrs. Malice in the chat room says, yeah, the first one was where they took cars with cool car nicknames. Wait, that was Gone in 60 Seconds with, she said it in the chat room, Nick Cage. I didn't say it. She said it.
I love Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's a genuine good movie.
So ratings on the trailer. I see.
It doesn't matter. I'm gonna see it at some point, regardless.
Okay.
Like I said, I'll give it a rate. It was an A-. It's exactly what you want from a Fast and the Furious trailer.
Okay. Masonic?
I will give it a solid A.
And Super?
Yeah, I'll give it a B.
B?
I mean, I didn't shut it off after 2 minutes because I was like, man, this is a long trailer. And then I looked down and I saw it wasn't even halfway through. And I'm like, I could shut it off, but I kept watching.
I will give it an A- as well because it looks fun. It's got, I mean, you got some big name people in it. We already had big names, but bringing Helen Mirren in, and then John Cena's just blowing up for cinema right now and doing what The Rock did, proving that he's actually not that bad of an actor. He's actually doing some really good stuff. So, yeah, it got me excited. I'll go check. I'll definitely be checking it out. So that's it for In a World. Now for the meat of the show, and that is the nerd news. Ruru 2, it's a Universal movie. They need this to survive the next 2 years. All right, first story. After all the turmoil for Disney about Obi-Wan being put on hold, and that's everybody talked about nastiness and bad stuff and everything. Then a rumor came out for that George Lucas might be coming back to do television, which was just a rumor. It's not happening. He's not coming back to do Star Wars. They're not bringing him back into the fold. But what kind of spawned this was back in 2005, George was working on a television show called Star Wars Underworld that he got 50 scripts done for, but it never saw the light of day. It never actually released. And what did release this week is found footage
today, pretty much
leaked footage of the test reel of this show. I mean, basically in the test reel, it was showing us a spy stealing plans and being chased by the 501st for the most part.
It's like the cold open of a shitty pilot.
Yeah, well, I'll give my thoughts on what the trailer what the little 8-minute video looked like. But what did you guys? I mean, outside of the cold open, what did you guys think? Yes, it was leaked. No, it was leaked, but then it was also said that like the people that did the special effects were the ones that kind of released it. So
well, they should have been because the special effects were actually quite good. That was the only good thing about it. The writing was it was garbage. If he wrote 50 scripts along those lines, no wonder it never got made. It was hot garbage.
Was the special effects really that good though? Really?
The part where that car, the one part with the car swinging, that mirror finished car swinging around the corner.
Think about this. It was a
television. Was pretty good.
It was a television show
in 2005.
And this was a test reel. So yes, the special effects were actually very good for what you were getting out of it. What else did you guys think about it besides that? Was it scorched earth bad is what Jack Malice said?
Well, it definitely wasn't Star Wars Christmas level. How about that?
That is true. That is true.
So much better.
That is true.
Yeah, I watched it and I was excited to see it because I was like, oh man, this is what we missed. And then I kept watching it. I was like, oh, this is bad acting. This is
yes.
I mean, and seriously,
did you notice there was only one spoken line of the whole thing that was actually spoken by the voice actor that was on screen? Everything else was overdubbed like a bad Japanese movie.
Yeah, not only that, I was about to say, how can it be bad acting when 90% of the actors were stormtroopers in full-on costumes? Seriously, but it was still bad acting.
They literally got the 501st from the Celebration convention and said, "Hey guys, come here. We need to film this really quick."
Man, it's like a VHS tape, a handheld camcorder, and
Yeah.
getting to work, man, right outside Comic-Con.
Okay, our producer did this to himself because he asked, "Was it Nick Cage bad?"
No.
And Josh
Yes.
Collins says it's a
No.
big H. H is for Hoover. It sucks.
Josh,
Uh,
it was Mega Made. It went from suck to blow.
You're very ugly when you. Nick Cage would have actually been a huge improvement in this 5 minutes.
Oh, that says a lot. So I guess we're glad we didn't actually see this hit the light of day.
Oh God.
Well, you know what? I mean, here's the thing. I mean, ultimately, we've seen stuff that looks like crap for 8 minutes, but then you find out that it's a gem of some type. They did something. They maybe just either picked a bad spot or whatever. I would have been interested to see it because at least with Underworld, when you're going to Underworld, especially Coruscant, you could do a lot of stuff with that. You could interject bounty hunters. You could interject possibly like low-level Jedi trying to do their thing. I mean, it's just there's so many different tangents you can go with, and you don't have to necessarily go mainstream Star Wars or have any main characters in it, which was awesome outside of the bounty hunters. But
I totally agree. I just think that they shouldn't let George Lucas write actual scripts. He's an idea guy. He's a great concept guy. Let other people handle the dialogue.
Yeah, his dialogue has always been garbage.
Aren't you kind of curious what was in the other 50 completed scripts? Because they had 50 scripts done.
Oh, somebody's got to leak that soon, right?
I would hope.
As web specials.
That's what this felt like to me. This felt like a web series because I think
it did.
It had a to be continued after like the 6 minutes mark.
It was so cheesy.
Also, in the article that we read pointed it out, but I got to point it out too. This is some of the worst shooting, even for a Star Wars movie.
I know.
These people are standing 3 feet away from each other and shooting a solid 20 degrees off.
Well, what's funny too is like when they're getting into the position, like the guy with the tattoos all over his face, it's like, oh, we must begin shooting. Let me sink into position. And it was
and
like,
then
what
he rolls out a grenade that has the effect of like a buster bomb.
Yeah.
Fireball. I'm like, dude, you're 7 feet away. What? They were testing out their new flame graphics, I guess.
Rutu says rejected SNL skits.
Oh, dude, this would be hilarious as an SNL segment.
I would like to see Taron Killam as one of the that'd be fantastic.
But they're like, how did he survive the explosion? When you talked about that bomb or whatever, because it's like that's like surviving the explosion by hiding in
refrigerator
Independence
in
Day.
84.
Yeah, that or in Independence Day when she's fleeing down the tunnel and she goes into the little hallway and it's like the fire goes by.
Jumps into the maintenance tunnel. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So all right. So our little bit of science for this week's cast. The National Science Foundation's Daniel K. Inouye Solar Telescope revealed its first photos of the detailed sun surface, which just looks like a bunch of amber rocks.
I thought we were looking at caramel corn at first.
I thought it was unpopped popcorn, and then I thought it was really old stale corn puffs. Or corn pops, that cereal.
The surface of the sun.
Yeah, each one of the little kernel looking things is the size of Texas.
Wow.
So that's big.
That's a lot of Texas. Can we send criminals in Texas to there?
Can we send Texans there?
Yeah, not all Texans. Just
okay.
Some of the crazy.
I mean, the biggest thing with this photo, I mean, it's cool. It's like, oh, hey, that's what the sun actually looks like on the surface. But it's gonna give. They were talking about how for our weather, for weather on the Earth, they can predict it down to the day and everything of what the weather changes are going to be. But there's space weather, and by being able to get this deep into the photos and get a better surface structure and see how the sun reacts to different times of the year and everything, it'll give them.
Oh yeah, they're talking about measuring minute magnetic fluctuations in the surface of the sun in order to determine how it's going to affect our weather and our climate and stuff like that. One weird thing that I was thinking about it, they're talking about how the telescope is a 4-meter dish on top of a 10,000-foot mountain in Hawaii, and I was like, oh yeah, you probably get a lot less light pollution up there at night. And then I thought, wait a minute, no, they're photographing the sun, so that's in the daytime. Oh wait, they have a 4-foot wide mirror collecting sunlight and then focusing it into a lens. You remember having a magnifying glass as a kid when you'd like burn wood or ants? What the hell? Apparently they've had to come up with new technologies in cooling just to make this thing work. I love the random offshoots of science that produce really cool tech.
Yeah, Josh in our chat says
It is cool tech.
the undulating plasma, it's moving the way because of corona mass being ousted due to deep gravity within the star's heart as the core fluctuates.
I'm glad you could make sense of that. What is ousted?
I'm pretty sure you meant pushed.
Pushed. Okay. Pushed. Okay, that makes more sense.
Oh, is that what it was? Pushed? Okay, being pushed due to deep gravity within the.
I was like ousted. I thought maybe ousted.
No, I mean just picture boiling water, except as plasma and several million miles across.
Yeah, and Ruth says they have filters to block out
Several thousand miles across.
They have filters to block out wavelength of light that is heat.
Right, but they also still have to actually cool the array that is taking the picture. It's yes, they've got filtered mirrors and filtered glass and stuff, but still, it's a 13-foot array of mirrors that's all focusing something on a lens, and they had to come up with special cooling tech just to keep the thing from burning itself up.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot more in depth and a lot more crazy. I wish we could go more into it, but I mean, just one little photo, realizing all the implications tied into being able to get this photo is huge for technology, for space advancement. Yeah.
Anytime I read any kind of articles like this, I just think it's amazing how we've been able to build on the shoulders of the past. Every little tiny advancement that we've come up with over time, and then to be able to take off from there. I mean, talk to solar physicists from the 50s if there were such a thing at the time. They couldn't have imagined.
I don't think.
Let's take a picture of this.
Maybe there were. Watch Timeless. Maybe they cover that in an episode. Maybe just. I think they did in Legends of Tomorrow too. That was still one of my favorite when they go back to NASA in the Legends of Tomorrow, and then Victor Garber is like, "We need a distraction, or they're gonna hear Ray land on the moon," and he just starts singing Deo for like no reason. You remember that episode?
Well, because it's an excellent Beetlejuice callback.
It just, I like that. It's like, what are you doing? You crazy. Oh, it's a tradition in Britain for good luck. We just randomly burst into song in the middle of a science lab.
Jack says, he says, standing on the shoulders of giants. So I was going to say, starting one of my favorite quotes from Jurassic Park, which I think fits here, but doesn't actually apply, which is Ian Malcolm saying, your scientists, they stood on the shoulders of giants. They spent so much time wondering if they could, they didn't stop to wonder if they should. But then he also says, still be proud and try to make something free for everyone, and a death ray. I think it was Archimedes that tried to make the death ray, according to
Was it Archimedes?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mythbusters did that one a couple of times.
Last nerd news story. It's things that make you say "wow" is what the name of this title of this episode. And that's that Owen Wilson has been cast into the Loki series for Disney Plus. We don't know what he's playing, but yeah, I mean, you see Owen Wilson, and that's why we keep saying it, because that's what your first thing you think is like, wow, really? He's going to be cast into Loki? I just want to know, what do you guys think? What would you prefer to see him as, or?
Well, we had our mess knows him, our part-timer at work, was like, he's like, I was so excited for this because I thought they were casting Owen Wilson actually as Loki.
Oh God.
And I was just like, when he said that, and he was like, "Don't you think he would do a good Loki?" And I was like, "I would definitely love to see him try." And I was like, "Oh, I wish Mest was here right now because he would just have the perfect." It was funny. But I was like, hey, I was like, well, he's going to be playing off Tom Hiddleston, so there could be some fun interaction there. Because I think Tom Hiddleston has a good quirky personality, and Owen has a good quirky personality, but it's just an odd pairing. You don't look at Owen Wilson and go, superhero movie, yes.
Well, Masonic may have gone offline right here recently, but earlier in the pre-show, he said, "Yeah, well, eventually you're going to run into somebody that hasn't been in a Marvel movie. Might as well be Owen Wilson." I want him to be Loki's hype man, just standing around behind him, going, "Wow, wow." That'd be great.
He's gonna be the character that he was in all the Jackie Chan films, where he's like Loki's secondhand man.
Oh, wow, wow. Oh, what are you doing? Wow.
Rurutu says Loki has the space stone. He can travel to any of the 9 realms. I think Owen Wilson will be an elf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of the
So,
Dark Elves.
I'm assuming that's what he meant. So.
I mean, he could be. I thought maybe at first he was going to be an Asgardian, but I don't know, like a failed Asgardian maybe.
If I had to make a legit guess, I would say he's probably some like mid-level government functionary that Loki messes with accidentally towards the beginning, and he gets
Yeah.
caught in his wacky antics.
Or like the human that stumbles on, kind of like Kat
Yeah.
Dennings' character in the Thor movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first extra casting we've gotten for Loki outside of Tom Hiddleston playing Loki. So, Josh Cal says maybe they make him the new Collector.
Jeez.
Okay. Our last bit of this show, the last segment for the show, is somebody's got to talk about it.
We need to talk!
You talking to me?
Oh my God! Who told you?
Have you told anyone else about this?
What you talking about?
Look who's talking.
Somebody's got to talk about is those weird, odd, funny, hilarious topics and stories that somebody's got to talk about. And with Super Bowl being this weekend, SBNation went on to Twitter and asked people, what other things should be a Super Bowl halftime show if we didn't have concerts? And we got everything from Red Panda, which I don't know if you know who Red Panda is. She's the girl that's on the really tall unicycle and she throws plates under her head.
Yeah.
Super talented.
To the guy that just throws paint at a wall and ends up making a painting out of it. But
super talented.
Yeah. But I saw some really cool other little ideas. Like they had the 2 worst teams play each other in overtime rules to see who ends up
my favorite one.
pick. So, or they had a mascot game where the mascots play football against each other.
That would actually be hilarious. But mascots from different sports and make it a sports free for all. I want to see that creepy pelican guy from the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, go up against who's one of the creepy football mascots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a hawk, just the Seahawk, just the actual hawk.
The eagle, the Philly eagle.
Yes.
That thing needs to get its ass kicked.
No. You just have the actual Seahawk that they throw out and just have it come down on the mascot and start just pecking and attacking. That kind of a mascot. Yeah, I don't. Rurutu says reenact the final battle in Endgame live.
Oh God.
What do you guys? Any other thoughts? What would be a good?
My favorite one was the dog that catches like 90-yard frisbee throws. You watch that little clip. The crowd went nuts when that dog caught it.
Jack says, "Oh, this is so harsh for San Diego. He wants to see the San Diego Padres play football. Maybe the Padres might actually win something."
But who does he want him to play against?
He doesn't care.
I mean, Cleveland, Tampa.
That's just hard.
Okay.
Can we have can we have a halftime show where Baby Groot fights Baby Yoda?
That would just be no. I don't want to fight. It would just
I
be.
don't
It would,
want the,
or have
I
some
wanna,
kind of
maybe they can
contest
have a
between the two of
sing-along.
them.
A karaoke with the two of them would be great. Oh,
there we
sorry.
go. Rurutu, I agree. Dance off to save the galaxy. Yes, that's gonna dance off on this. Ugh. Bring all the
Group
players
feel
out.
it?
Bring all the players out and have them play a quick 15-minute game of D&D and
Or DDR.
roll for initiative. I don't know. It was just an interesting little question that went viral on Twitter, and so I wanted to get other people's thoughts of what a different halftime show what it should be. Oh, okay. That's it. That's today's cast. We did it. We made it. We're done. We'll be back next Friday for another hour of nerd, geek, and pop culture. But until then, let's talk about where you can follow everybody. If you want to follow Masonic Vader, you can find him on Twitter at Masonic Vader. It might be Masonic Vader 71 on Instagram. And you can also follow these other two people that are here on the cast. IC Zora, where can people follow you outside this cast?
At ICZora on Instagram, Twitter, and PlayStation Network. And coming soon from me and Super on the Malice Corp website, Buffy and Angel rewatch and recap, commentary, etc.
And I would be 100% down for this. Ruru2 says, get a bunch of people LARPing a game of Quidditch.
Hell yes.
Super, where can people follow you outside this cast?
You follow me on Twitter at SuperHoovianNut, and then you can follow me on Instagram at SuperHoovianFreak.
And if you want to follow this cast, follow it on Twitter at All Nerd Podcast, or come join us and chit chat and drop whatever stories you find or funny memes or GIFs or all that stuff over on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/all things nerd podcast. Check us out on malice-corp.com, and wherever you're watching this, wherever you're listening to this, please make sure you're subscribing, make sure you're reviewing if you have the ability to do that. 5 stars are very, very welcome, and leave us a review or comment, and we will get back to you on that stuff as well. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Mest_MaliceCorp or on Instagram at Mest5150. And that's it. That's all I got. So you guys keep nerding on, and we'll see you next Friday.